when I see your face.
There's not a thing that I would change.
'Cause you're amazing,
Just the way you are.
Alright, sorry, I totally forgot the lyrics to the song. Before we started, I told you, look, I don't know the lyrics. And you're like, let's Google. And I'm like, no, fuck that. Let's just start. And immediately caught out. But hello, hi, welcome. The show's name is Politics.
Although
I call it Politrix. And the title of this episode is Ricky Stanicky. My name is Presh.
my name is Dill.
And
Welcome.
so, clean up from last week.
Mm-hmm.
2 weeks ago, I said that we narrowly missed a recession. And last week, I read an explanation, but I feel like I still don't fully understand it.
Okay.
Right? I said that a recession is a period of economic decline characterized by 2 quarters of negative GDP growth. But that is quite nebulous and like abstract. Right? What does it mean in real terms? It means that the shops make less sales, which leads to job losses, which means the unemployment rate goes up, which leads to less spending at shops, which leads to job losses. Right? You see
Vicious
the cycle.
Vicious.
Yes. So the cycle has the potential to get out of control unless the government takes steps to break it with a stimulus package. This is a group of policies that the government implements to
inject the economy.
Yes, to
break
get the
the
economy
cycle.
going again, right? So for potentially one of the things they could do is lower taxes. So the extra money you have, you go to the shop, so you spend it, and it stimulates the economy. They can lower the interest rate, so this would be good for me.
Yeah,
But
you'll be-
I pay a bond every month, right? If the interest rate goes down, my bond goes down. So I'll have like extra money again to go to the shops to spend to stimulate the economy. The last thing that they can do is, just give stimulus checks, like to unemployed people, to like poor people. They just give them money, and then the more they buy, the more it stimulates the economy, and more people can go to the shops, etc. So, a recession is still pretty bad, but
It would be nice to have some relief.
Yes.
This relief would really break the cycle and help people.
it would.
Yeah. But
Again, these are like middle class people. This doesn't really help the poor. A recession is very bad for the poor. So, yes.
But I heard someone like a pensioner saying that on a certain day between a certain time that Pick and Pay has like a pensioners, breakfast, lunch thing.
Yeah.
Where they can just, come and have food and stuff. So I guess that's a sort of boosting of the economy, because I'd be more willing to shop in Pick and Pay knowing that, and especially if I was a pensioner, I might be more inclined to go there.
Sure.
But
But
I just thought that was
that's-
an interesting thing.
That's
that
more
they're
like
doing.
just advertising or like, doing a special. It's the same as having like 10 Rand off juice or something. It's to entice you to come in.
Well, they're paying for everything for these pensioners, so I'd like to think of it as they're just feeding the old
Sure,
people,
sure.
which I just
But I
think
mean,
is nice.
you
I don't
are-
know if it relates to what's gonna happen with the economy, but I thought about that.
Sure. So last week I said that the song Hero by Nickelback was probably made about Superman. In fact, it was made for the 2002 movie Spider-Man.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, totally
even
got
better.
it wrong, but
Close
it's good to know that they didn't just make a song about a hero and to just apply to everyone. It was a specific thing for a specific
But
movie.
does it say something specific about being a spider?
I'm gonna be honest, I only know the one line that I sang last week.
True.
They say a hero can save us. I'm not gonna. And then I don't know the rest of the song.
So we're not gonna be.
That's all I know.
No problem.
Sorry.
No problem.
Also, last week I couldn't remember which 2 rates were linked. I think I said it was the interest rate and the repo rate, but it's actually the interest rate and the inflation rate, which is something I spoke about a long time ago on this podcast, that if inflation is going up, which means the shops are making things more expensive, they put the interest rate up So again, my bond goes up. That means I can't spend as much at the
Everything.
shops. So
It's
yeah,
terrible. Everything increases. When it's gonna decrease? When it's coming to neutral?
thank you.
When is it gonna be an increase for
Yes,
good?
but the thing is, it's not just us. It's like worldwide. There's a lot of economic problems going on.
Well, I'll vote for pressure in this position.
No, but it has to do with lots of like outside factors.
Yeah.
So, for example, COVID, that kind of fucked a lot of things up. The war in Russia, that fucked
Look,
a lot
bro,
of things up. The conflict in
We
the Middle
have
East.
blooming, budding fields. I don't know why we don't just grow some
All right.
weed.
Yes.
Give it to everybody.
This is your answer every
Use
week.
it,
Let's
use
just
it.
go
No,
out there,
bro.
grow some weed.
I mean, it can
No,
be
fair enough.
turban.
It is a good idea.
Yeah, because it would really boost the economy, I reckon.
Yes. Anyway,
Yeah.
last week I wanted to speak about Praveen Gordon's retirement, but I didn't have enough time to do research.
Okay, tell
In
me.
fact, I called him our finance minister last week, and he hasn't been our finance minister since 2018. So 6 years ago.
But he was at some point.
Yes, he
Yeah.
was, but
Not anymore.
no.
Alright,
And
sure.
I should be, on top of that. But it just shows how ignorant I am. But I did some basic Googling, and the position he's retiring from is the Minister of Public Enterprises. So this is the minister in charge of our public utilities such as ESCOM and SAA.
Oh my god.
Right.
This doesn't seem good.
Right. So he's had a long career in politics, although I call it politics. But I just want to focus on his last position and as Minister of Public Enterprises and ask two questions, right? First question is, did he do a good job? And by all accounts, no. Right? It's well known that ESCOM has been mismanaged for years and he didn't do much to solve the situation. So I'm not going to blame him for ESCOM.
But that's what it is, man.
I'm going to blame him for not doing anything to
To help alleviate
help.
the situation,
Thank you.
you
Yes.
know. To
Took
make
the
it
words out of my
better,
mouth, yeah.
he didn't do anything actively
Yes.
to.
And not just ESCOM, for all we have, I think, 6 public utilities, right? And my second question is, how did he feel about privatization? Do you know what privatization is?
When they're trying to make nice. I mean, when things should be public, but they privatize it and make extra money on it.
True. Yes.
Yeah.
You caught
I
it.
got
Nice
you.
one, right? But why is it important to have public, enterprises?
Because the public is everyone. Everyone should have the same rights, and everyone should be.
Yes, thank you.
Get the same treatment, and
I mean,
that's
like,
the premise of
so
equality.
A private company, their main goal is to make money,
Yeah.
to
no
make
one
as
wants-
much money as possible, right? So, in certain areas, that's good. You want to maximize as much money as you can. But in other areas, incentivizing people with money is not the right way. Why do I say this? For example, with medicine, what would they, if they were doing it for money, what would they be incentivized to do? To cure you, or to give you like a
drugs,
monthly drug that will
Yeah.
like keep you sick but will slightly alleviate the pain. So in certain areas,
it's not good.
it's not good to incentivize making money off people, because in certain areas we shouldn't be doing that, right? So that's why, like, one of my biggest things is we should have a strong public health sector, which we definitely do not have, right? So if our Minister of Public Enterprises is for privatization, that would be very bad, right? You're the person in charge of
public
right?
enterprises.
Yes. So to answer that question, apparently he was all about privatizing, and there's theories that he didn't fix the public enterprises, hoping that he could justify selling them off, right? Because he'll be like, oh well, the public enterprises, they're in the shitter, let's sell them off to private interests.
But now, why can't the public enterprise buy a private enterprise
They can.
and then make the private enterprise work for the public?
Well, it costs a lot of money,
But then in the long
and
run,
the people will have to be willing to sell.
And then in the long run, why can't they do it sneakily? Like, I just rock up and I'll say, look, I'm presenting a private company, the private company being the government.
They can do that. They use a process called tenders. Instead of the government doing something, they'll ask for somebody to submit a proposal. So a bunch of businesses submit a proposal, and then they choose which one
Who's the best?
theoretically is the best one, but apparently there's a lot of
their
corruption.
friend, you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of corruption, so they don't necessarily choose the best one, and then they give money to that plan with that company and tell them to, take care of this. So yes. Anyway,
Weird, yeah.
so it's bad to privatize certain things, and this minister was very much for privatization. So
Not a good public.
yes, piss on his
minister.
grave. Goodbye, bitch.
You what?
Get out of here.
Did he retire or did he die?
He retired, yeah.
Oh, okay, well,
But I'm
don't
still
piss on his
pissing on
grave
his
yet.
grave, bro.
Just wait for him to die at least. Maybe,
Well.
hopefully, he can see the error of his
That
ways.
being said, like, if you're rich, you usually like plan ahead and buy a plot on the cemetery. So I could probably, I
Fine.
probably couldn't find it, but
Nah, you could.
if I did some serious
Yeah.
detective work, we'll
Yeah.
find his grave and piss on it before he
Nice.
before he dies.
Yo, bro,
Right.
just fertilize the soil one time.
All right. The other person who's retiring is Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Right. I only saw a headline last week, and now that I read the story, he's actually seeking re-election and will step down after that term in 2028. So I'll chat about him when he retires.
So he's not really keen
No,
to let go.
it's-
He's like,
It's
I will soon,
He's
but
like,
not
yeah,
yet.
one more time, and then I'll,
Just one more.
like a kid who doesn't want to go to bed.
For sure.
He's like, yeah, just one more game, one more game. That's him. Right, all right. Can we get into the news for the week?
In the news this week, tell us.
Vodacom Group and former employee Kenneth Makate plan to enter private talks to discuss his compensation for a popular callback phone service he proposed more than 2 decades ago, hoping to reach an out-of-court settlement. A February majority judgment by South Africa's Supreme Court of Appeal would entitle Makate to compensation ranging between 29 billion rand and 63 billion rand, which would have, quote, devastating consequences, unquote, for the mobile network operator, its employees and its investors, the Johannesburg Vodacom said in papers filed February 26 to the Constitutional Court to appeal the SCA decision.
So, this guy has a secret, mobile network scheme, and he wants to sell it
It's not a secret. You've heard of Please Call Me, right?
Yeah?
He invented that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So they never paid him for it. So he's been suing them for like 20 years.
Oh,
Right.
shit.
And in February of this year, they judged that they have to give him a large
Yeah.
amount of money.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there was a, what's it when you speak to investors? An investor call. Fucking hell.
They
On
have
the
to get
investor
all the
call,
people on the monies.
yes, the CEO of Vodacom was saying that this is not possible. They don't have that much money on them to just give this guy that money. So they're trying to work out a settlement with him so that they don't immediately go out of business. But this guy was complaining oh, we're gonna have to lay off our workers, we have to do this, that. It's like, you the one who didn't pay this man.
Yeah.
Right? You fucked this up.
Yeah, alright.
This
Is it only Vodacom?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's going only for Vodacom.
He worked at Vodacom.
Oh, and he made it then.
And he created the thing.
Oh,
And yeah.
damn.
Mm.
Well, good on him, bro. And
Yeah.
it must have
Sorry,
been expensive to fight those legal
I
battles.
should clarify to our international listeners what a Please Call Me is. So if you don't have
let me tell that, bro.
Alright.
When a police call me is when you're struggling, you don't have no airtime. I was in Australia, they call it phone credit. The thing that you use to call other people,
Yeah.
you don't have any of it, bro. So you type in a number, star, 111, star, and then you type in the number and then hash, and it sends that person a please call me, as in a message that says this person is looking for you, please call them at this number.
Yeah. So it's a very useful service that
For sure.
a lot of people make use of. So, you know,
And it doesn't charge you anything.
I'm 100% on Makate's side.
He
Obviously,
deserves some money for that, bro.
yes, obviously we don't want Vodacom to go under because, like that guy said, we have a lot of employees that rely on this business, but that man deserves the money
He was
he's
also
worth,
an
bro.
employee, bro, and he deserved. They should have just paid him from the beginning.
That's
in
what I'm
fact.
saying, right? You, by fucking over your employee, down the line, you owe him billions, right? They deserve everything that's coming their way, right? So I'm reading this from, onto our next story. I'm reading this from CNN, right? The public absence of Catherine, Princess of Wales, has grown from a niche royal watcher concern to an international punchline in a matter of weeks. While Kensington Palace said her January abdominal surgery was planned and indicated that she would be out of the public eye through March, several unusual details, grainy photos, an altered image, vague medical information, irregular updates from the British royal family have kept the public guessing. Have you heard about this? So Kate Middleton, formerly Kate Middleton, I don't know what her surname. I get Kate Windsor or whatever her name is. She's the wife of the prince, right? And she's been missing for a while. I heard this on a podcast like in January, right? That she hasn't been seen, etc. Now in this past week, it was Mother's Day. It may have been 2 weeks ago actually, but whatever the case is, instead of putting out a picture of her, they put out like a doctored picture. And
Something they altered.
yes, an altered picture, I should say, right? And a number of magazines and newspapers, they're refusing to run the story because of that altered picture. So there's been a bunch of theories, and you know, the internet detectives kind of trying to find out what's up with the right. But it seems very boring, if I'm being honest with you. It's like a lot of the theories are like, oh, she had surgery, and you know, like the official story is that she had surgery and she wouldn't be able to be seen. But the theories that I'm seeing coming out is that like actually it wasn't an abdominal surgery. She was trying to get a bigger bum. She was getting I think it's called a BBL.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Like a butt lift and things.
Yes. I was hoping for
Dude,
something like I was hoping for something like she was kidnapped by terrorists and they're gonna blow something up. If
that would definitely be more interesting, bro.
That would be so much more interesting. But she's just been missing. So.
But bro, is she even missing? They said that she did a surgery and
but
now she's recovering.
But I'm saying nobody's seen her.
But they also said that
the royal family said that we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. She could be dead.
Look, nobody knows what's happening except her. So mind your business. That's
Fair
all
enough.
I have to say.
Fair enough.
You know, all those people. Because also I think the tabloids in in different countries can also take stories and twist them and make them very bad. So you know don't fucks with the public eye.
Fair enough, bro. I honestly I don't know why I put it on the doc. It's very like I try to stay away from like salacious, gossip and stuff. But I just thought this was fun, you know.
Well, it's just weird, like they said some things are gonna happen, and then something else, I don't know. People come up with extra theories, but anyway, that was an interesting story.
The next story is the TikTok ban. Have you heard about this?
No, are they trying to get rid of TikTok?
Only in America.
Oh.
So they've been having congressional hearings. So TikTok is a singer. Actually, I don't know if it's from China, but their CEO is from Singapore. And they kept on like grilling this man, and they're like, so why are you serving Chinese propaganda to the American people? And he's like, I'm from Singapore. I have no,
Awkward.
I have no relation with
Any
with
Chinese
China.
people?
I'm not a member of the CCP, which is the Chinese Communist Party.
Mm.
He was just like having to field these rubbish questions.
Mm.
Right? And then, are you familiar with Ted Cruz?
Yeah, I might have heard of it.
Yeah, Ted Cruz is just an insane senator from Texas, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of gives the game away, right? He says something to the effect of, okay, in China, you're serving them content about maths and science. But in America, you're serving them information on being anti-Israel. And it's like, okay, there it is, right? You're angry because TikTok is, showing anti-Israel content to people, which is not true, right? TikTok is 100% based on the algorithm, right?
That's what I was thinking as well.
Yes.
Whatever you see is because you search those things, bro.
Yes, you search it, you clicked on it. The more time you spend like watching something, the more information TikTok has to be like, okay, let's find more content like that. So it's totally just like adults not understanding what TikTok is.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, I wrote a post on Instagram about TikTok and how rubbish TikTok is. And that was just kind of in jest, right? But I was saying that because I've started using TikTok to post, clips from the show on TikTok. And we're getting a lot of traction there. It's easier to be seen on TikTok than it is on YouTube, etc., etc. There's over 100 million American users of TikTok, right?
Jeez.
That would be like banning Toyota. That's the scale of the user base that
But
we're talking about.
to be honest, they could ban it, but it's not like they'll have any less users, and people will find other ways to use it.
No, but I mean, so like what I mentioned here, I'm posting clips from our podcast. There's people who their entire business is based around TikTok, right? They sell merchandise, etc., whatever. So that would be a huge fuck you to the people in America that are using TikTok as a service.
And they're the ones who came up with lots of those stupid ass things, So you guys are the inventors also.
Well,
of
that's
these.
the thing. It's it'll go away. I'm very interested to see what a platform with no American users look like. That would be very strange.
It'll be nice for the rest of us.
Yes.
I think. But who knows?
Enough of their insane bullshit. It's just, yeah.
That's on science, baby. Here we come.
All right. Do you have anything else to say on that?
Nah, I'm good.
So can we get into the context of the movie?
Yes.
So this movie is directed by Peter Farrelly, or Farrelly.
Whatever.
I've always just said Farrelly. Right.
His name is Pete.
For many years worked along with his brother Bobby as the Farrelly brothers. And they made a bunch of romantic comedies like Dumb and Dumberer. There's Something About Mary, Shallow Hell. Have you seen any of these?
Yeah.
Definitely when I was a child, well, I was 10 years old in 2007, right? On Mnet, they had a back-to-back of Shallow Hell and The Heartbreak Kid, two Farrelly brothers movies. And that's one of the
best movie nights ever.
Not really, just I'm saying my interaction with the Farrellys. That's the most I've ever interacted with them. I'm familiar with them, but I'm not a big fan, I'm I wasn't I didn't rub my hands together and think, ooh, the new Peter Farrelly movie, ooh. Right? I haven't been able to find a reason why, but he split up with his brother and starts working as a solo director. And he makes Green Book in 2018.
That was a very good movie.
To me, it was an alright movie.
Alright.
But it won the Oscar for Best Picture, which it definitely did not deserve, right? It's going to be one of those that we look back in years to come and be deeply embarrassed by.
What are they saying was the best picture about it? Just the way the movie looks? Or the whole story? Or
I don't know what goes through the mind of the Oscars.
For the best picture, the award.
It can be anything. You could be like, oh, I like the writing in this movie. I'll give it best picture. Just
Oh.
the
Okay.
the Oscar voters, they vote how they vote.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't tell you. In fact, we're going to be doing an Oscar segment just now, and you'll see like certain things are just a little bit strange. I wouldn't have voted that way, but
Sure.
the Oscars are the Oscars, right? He then directs a movie called The Greatest Beer Run Ever, which I haven't seen, so I can't comment on it. Have you seen it?
Nope.
And then after that is the movie that we're covering today.
Yeah. But today is only one brother. It's
Yes.
not.
So that's what I was saying. Green
Yeah.
Book was by Peter, and The Greatest Beer Run Ever is by Peter, and this one is by Peter. This is his solo career so far. So
Okay, not too bad then. This movie I think was pretty good.
So yeah, you not love, but like you like at least 2 out of the 3 that he's done solo, right?
Yeah.
Green Book
I'll
and
say.
this.
Yeah.
So maybe you should try The Greatest Beer Run Ever and see.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know if it's
But
the greatest ever.
Zac Efron is also in The Greatest Beer Run Ever.
Oh, so maybe this guy's friends with Zach.
I was going to, like, speaking of, I haven't done a Zac Efron movie on this podcast.
You
And then
did.
in the past few weeks, we've done 2 now.
Yeah, he's coming in.
Yes. He's a good actor. Like, a lot of, like, people that come from weird, or not weird, like, musical theater, are kind of looked down upon a little bit. And he's,
He's got good range.
he started from High School Musical.
Yeah,
At least
for
that's where
sure.
I know him from, first of all. So, yes, he's very good at comedies. But when we saw him in The Iron Claw, I thought he was very good as a dramatic actor as well. Right? So, yeah.
He's got good versatility.
Okay.
But I don't think this was only about Zach, I just like the whole movie
The
in
ensemble,
general.
yes.
The
I
way
was
it was.
I was just talking about him because he was in the previous movie, so I wanted to mention him.
Alright.
Right. What else? Okay, just before I start, I also want to talk about the actors. John Cena, this is his 8th movie in 2 years.
Hey, John
Right.
Cena's on fire, boy.
Bro, this
He's
man-
trying to be the highest paid actor. He's right there. He's gunning for Dwayne Johnson's position.
So I was looking at his Wikipedia in his filmography. So one of those 6 movies last year was Barbie, which was just a small cameo.
Yeah.
But like 4 of them were the main role. How is this guy doing 4 main roles?
Bruh.
And then early on this year, another one with this Ricky Stanicky. So he is out of control. Somebody needs to rein him
He's
in.
on fire, dog.
He must have like gambling debts that he needs to pay
Nah,
off.
bro,
So
that's what I'm
he's-
saying, dog. He's trying to get The Rock's career there. He's trying to catch it up there, quick, fast.
And I just want to say, I think John Cena is a far better actor than The Rock. I don't think I've said that
No?
on this podcast.
You like John Cena more?
Yeah. Well, I've definitely more. I think he's way funnier. The Rock, like the jokes about The Rock is like, oh my god, he's so big. That's supposed to be a joke. It's like,
Well, I think for The Rock, he's got that very big Maui seriousness about him. And, that works in some roles, especially
Yeah,
like
but
when
listen,
it's Fast and Furiousing.
he's an actor. He's supposed to have range,
Yeah,
He can't
and
do the same thing.
what I
every
like
movie.
about his range doesn't only go into physical character, because he was also like doing Moana, he does voice recording, so I think that's pretty good. But I like both of them. I feel you. I don't know. For me, it's a bit hard to decide, because John Cena, he always comes with like, he tries to be serious, but I can see he's like a fluffy cushion. That's the only word that comes to mind. He's like a fluffy cushion, because in every movie he starts out serious, and then at the end of the movie I just end up laughing at him because he's so silly.
Fair enough. What about the other 2 friends? The ginger friend and the black friend.
I think there were decent supporting actors, nothing extravagant about them. That one ginger friend, him and his lifestyle were like funny. Yeah, hey, I don't know. What do you think, bro?
I thought, okay, we'll get into it in my thoughts of the movie. Just in terms of acting, I could take or leave both of them. They weren't like standout,
It was nice to have some other characters.
Yes.
So I wouldn't
So-
leave them, but they were fine as they were.
All right, yes. So let's get into my thoughts for the movie. Right, well, our thoughts. So the acting in this movie is poor.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's-
I just didn't like it, right?
Oh.
We just saw Zac Efron in The Iron Claw do so much better than this, right? And I understand the different performances. That's a dramatic and this is a comedic, but the level of the performance I still think is way different, right? I didn't believe that he was abused as a child. There's nothing in his performance that conveys it, right?
I would say overtly, but after, you come to realize his past and why he lies, that was the only scene where that black friend was useful. He gave it to him
Exposition.
straight. Yeah. He was like, "Yo, this is not right. What you're doing. You can't keep carrying on like this." So after that, I then realized a little bit later, but maybe before that, there's nothing so standoff or obvious that.
Yes.
You
But
know,
my problem is that they just told it to us. They were just like, look, this guy was abused. If we saw some things like he can't control his temper because that's how he was raised, or
some other
there's a-
signs and symbols.
so do you know when they're at the bris, the black guy says that he takes these drugs and it puts him in a something, I can't remember what word
like
he
a
used.
sleep.
Like a sleep, right? If Zac Efron was the one doing that, I would be like, oh, that makes more sense because he's too fucked up. He struggles to, maintain his sanity because of how badly he was abused. That would make more sense to me. But he seems very well adjusted. The only thing is that he lies. But then his other two friends also lie, and they both weren't abused. You get
But
me?
that's the thing, the ginger friend, I think he also just feeds into this lie. I'm not sure why and whatever his reason is, but the black friend at least knows that, hey man, this lying is not for me. I'm not the one who said. From the beginning, I just wanted to tell the truth. So I appreciate that about
I think
it.
that line that he said was just about hiring Ricky Stanicky. As
Just everything
but
in
I
general.
mean, they've been lying since they were children.
Yes,
So
yes.
what I'm saying is, Zac Efron, they say he lies explicitly because he was abused. The other two weren't abused. So what is their, if they told us okay, this guy, he thought he wouldn't get love from his parents if he didn't lie or something like give us a reason why the other two are liars.
Well, like you said, you can take them or leave them. So,
Yes,
do we
that's-
really need their whole life story? We
No, but
want to talk about Ricky, and
the
we had
reason
Ricky's
I
life.
could take or leave them is because nothing of interest was done with them.
significant.
If they did, if they were more fleshed out characters, then I would be like, oh, that's a good side character. But both of them were just kind of whatever, right?
For sure.
The only person who comes to play was John Cena, right? He comes in with so much charisma and commits so hard to the bit, you can't help but be won over by him.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
in the movie itself, people are being won over by him, and we as the audience are also being won over because that transformation from when he's like an alcoholic to late in the movie when he comes through at the bris with his cowboy hat.
Yeah, for sure, bro. And
You know-
he did his research. You can see he's really dedicated. He had an answer for everybody.
Yes.
So I also like that about him. He was fully committed to the role.
Yes. So yes, he's the only one who's the standout in this movie. Even William H. Macy, the boss, was just kind of whatever, bro.
Yeah.
So yes, the acting in this movie
Fucking, what's his name
in Shameless,
in Shameless?
I think his name is Frank.
Frank, yeah. I was like, Frank is doing the same thing, cleaning up his act.
I kind of fell off Shameless in season 6, and I think it still went on for another 3 or 4 years. But
Me too,
I need
yeah.
to go back and
Me
and
too.
see what it's about.
Let me know if you get those last few.
I didn't enjoy a lot of humor in this movie, especially John Cena's porn parody songs, which it's in theory I should find it funny, but the way
Well, the person who served him the notice to say that, you should stop using my song, he also apparently didn't find it funny.
Yeah. Bully Ocean.
Yeah, so I don't know. I won't say that it was like a chuckles funny film, but I was smiling the entire film.
Yes,
I must
that's
lie.
the thing. I
Yeah.
chuckled a few times, right? But not enough for a comedy movie. It should be way funnier for a. I guess it's not their fault that the comedy didn't jive with me. Maybe there's people out there who loved it and they thought it was so funny. So I shouldn't say that. I'll just say for me, I didn't laugh too much. It reminded me a lot of like a mid 2000s raunchy comedy where they do like a lot of sex jokes, like old school or Wedding Crashers. Yes.
That's true. But I guess if you look at this guy's discography or filmography, it shows all these, like, the type of movies he's made. And he likes to make those sort of
Raunchy comedies.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if he was working with Bad Neighbors too, with Zac Efron and Seth Rogen,
I don't
something
think
like.
he was.
Well,
But,
I'm
yes,
just saying
yes,
of
yes,
that
yeah.
like sort of line,
Yes. Fair enough. I thought the cinematography was boring. There's no cool or interesting shots. Everything in this movie is filmed in the exact same way, and it feels quite lazy. So we saw with Dune, they make use of like a lot of like interesting cuts, and
visuals,
like
yeah.
they take time to make the visuals. And I understand this is a way different type of movie. It's just a comedy, but why not do like when there's a physical scene, put like a GoPro on John Cena's face or something, and like you see it from his perspective, or like switch it up so that there's something interesting for us to see, right? There's no whimsy being conveyed in a comedy. That's not the main thing, but one of the important things is that it's not too serious. You don't get like bogged down. You just like have a bit of fun with it.
I think I understand what you're saying, but if you're saying that, I'm thinking of that scene where they were fighting in the closet, Zac Efron and John Cena, and they were like, being real catty, and their faces were getting red, and so it's not exactly. I understand what you mean. They don't have the nice wide variety of the different shots, and they're not making the best use of everything. But I think for what they were intending to achieve, they achieved it, and they wanted to make a comedy nice and simple. So I appreciated that about the movie. I don't always want to see like close-up face shots and things. Sometimes I want to just feel like I'm watching a movie.
Sure, that's fine. The movie is almost 2 hours, and I kept checking my watch to see how much longer it was going to be. So this to me suggests that there's an editing and a pacing issue. Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah.
It's 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't check my watch once because the editing is so like engrossing. One scene ends and the
next one was there.
It's not about just being there, it flows into each other. So like you don't even think like, okay, this scene is done, how much longer? It just moves at such a clip. This was like half the length of Killers of the Flower Moon, and I just kept checking my watch like, how much longer? Oh my god. Yes. So yeah, again, 2 hours it's far too much time for this movie. Cut out 20 minutes, give us a tight 90. In terms of character, I felt like the ginger guy added nothing to the plot of the movie, right?
I think he was like an anchor, just on a ship, waiting to set sail and drop. Because it's like his life was the most fucked up, and he was the one who was just going along with all these lives. I mean, they were snipping his baby's penis, everything kind of involved him some way or another.
People have circumcisions, that's not the issue.
Yeah, but the way they're doing it, like I'm saying, it was his child that was affected,
Yeah.
In the situation, it's him and Zac Efron's job.
Sorry, now that you just remind me, I just want to go back to the humor. They were making a lot of jokes about the baby's penis, which was so odd. And I was like, Okay.
Where they're choosing to pull their inspiration for the jokes is a bit odd. I'll give them that. Even some of, like you said, some of the dick parody jokes, they are a little bit funny, but funny in like a funky way, not like a bad way or a good way. It's just a bit funky.
So again, I don't think they should get rid of the ginger guy because a trio works better than just two guys, a duo. So I think just rewrite that character. Give him something interesting. Like, I guess you could say he's the guy with the baby, which...
That's why I'm saying, everything that kind of happened, it was involving him. And even in the last scene that you see, he's the last person that you see standing outside, waving at his baby. He's outside brushing his teeth, He's camping outside. So as much as he didn't have a major role, he had some weight, in the movie.
I guess it's like a house party. It's his house. But like he's not really participating while everyone else is having fun.
For sure.
And John Cena is just the life of the party. He's the
For sure. That's a nice way of seeing it.
So this is quite obviously a movie about accountability. The three friends, as well as John Cena, have been avoiding accountability their entire lives, and the movie is about learning to take accountability, which I think is a good lesson for people to learn.
For sure.
But a lot of stuff on social media is like, well, it's kind of like a battle of the sexes thing. Men are always like, wow, women never take accountability. And women are like, men never take accountability. Right? So I think this is a very good moral for, and it doesn't matter if it's men, whoever, can take a lesson from this movie about accountability.
For sure.
Yes. Well, that's the end of my thoughts. Do you have any other thoughts?
No, to be honest, I quite enjoyed the movie. I didn't look at my watch, in terms of I want to know when the movie is going to end.
That's fine, that was just me.
I don't think there was anything wrong with it. I quite enjoyed it. Like I said, I was smiling throughout the movie. I won't say I chuckled a few times. I didn't feel overwhelmed with emotional or anything like that. But overall, I think it was pretty good. I want to say I'd give it a 6, but I'm going to say I'll give it a 7 just because,
Well, that's the thing. I'm somewhere between a 5 and a 6. I thought it was fun. It was good, but just it's missing so much, there's been a lot of good comedies. I'm thinking about No Hard Feelings. Have you seen that with Jennifer Lawrence? Right?
Yeah.
I nominated Jennifer Lawrence for my best actress last year based on that, because that's such a funny movie, even though it's raunchy as well. There's a lot of sex jokes, there's a lot of weird stuff going on, but but that movie was just so much funnier than this. So are we done here?
Yeah, what would you give it though? 5 or 6?
I can't decide. Sometimes you can't.
Fine. Anyway,
maybe,
it's okay.
Maybe tomorrow morning I wake up and I'm like, oh, I'll give it a 5. Then a week from now I wake up and I'm like, oh, it was too harsh. I'll give it a 6. My ratings are always nebulous. They never set in stone. I might in 2 or 3 years I may watch a movie and be like, oh shit, I didn't understand this the first time I watched it. Let me bump it up. I'm always...
well, I'm sure that if you watch this movie again in a year or two, you'll enjoy it. Because even now, while I'm watching it, I was like, I'm telling my girlfriend, babe, we gotta watch this movie together. I'll watch it with you even. So I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah.
But to be honest, for the week ahead, I was also enjoying some other things. I would recommend The Good Cop.
So we get into the recommendations this week.
For this week, I would recommend The Good Cop. I enjoyed it quite a bit,
Is this the same one that you've been talking about? Oh no, sorry, that's The Rookie.
Yeah.
The Good Cop is something different.
Yeah, for sure. So this one is like a weird character. He's like a very stiff to the book type of guy, and his father is a very loose and fast type of character. So there's two very opposing characters, and they live together and they work, and he works in the department and they solve cases, and just weird things always happening, to them, and each day they're solving a case. So it's pretty interesting, and I enjoyed that one. I also watched some anime, Mm.
You want to tell us the name of that anime?
I'm thinking about it. But right now I'm watching Helsing. Helsing it's okay. I'm thinking more about going into Yasuki, the Black Samurai. Yeah, just I thought it would be more exciting, but I don't know much about anime, so I'm open to some suggestions if anybody wants to share some. I've also added One Piece Man to my One Piece?
There's One Piece and there's One Punch Man.
No, One Piece, yeah.
Okay.
One Piece, the live action one, because someone told me that the live action one is nice to start with.
Bro, listen.
What?
One Piece has like over 1,000 episodes.
Yeah,
so
right. That's a bit overwhelming
Yes.
for me.
My friend told me the exact same thing. He's like, the
live action.
the live action, the 10 episodes of the live action summarizes like 100 episodes of the
yeah.
of the
That'll
the
do
thing.
me
So,
a solid,
yes.
bro. So I think I'll try that out. But
Yeah.
what other recommendations you got for this?
So for me, Invincible returned from its mid-season break this week, and it's still really, really excellent. Have you seen Invincible?
No, I have not.
It's a superhero show about like it's an evil Superman narrative. So his dad is like an evil Superman.
Okay.
Instead of coming to Earth to save Earth, he's come to Earth to conquer Earth, right? And somewhere along the way, he fell in love with a lady and had a son, which is Invincible. And they're kind of building towards a fight between him and his father. So yeah, very excellent show. That's just the top level synopsis I've given you. That's not really
Nah, I feel you. It's probably got more depth to it.
But I'm really excited to see where they take us in the remaining episodes of the season. I believe the comic ran for a long time, so there's going to be more seasons. But yes, excellent show. One of my favorites on TV right now. Definitely think you should watch it.
Sure.
Have you seen The Boys?
The Boys?
It's a TV show as well.
No.
That is top tier. Watch The Boys before you watch Invincible. Let's just watch The Boys right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
Look,
Anyway.
I was also watching Young Sheldon. I'm waiting.
Oh my God.
I gotta be honest. There's like three things that I'm watching every week. I just wait until they come out, and Young Sheldon is one of them. The Rookie, and then Fire Country. So I watched Fire Country. That's why it's pretty interesting. That guy, he's a prisoner, and then he goes to a fire camp where he works to save people's lives in the fire. But literally every episode, this guy saves someone else's life. But he's still in prison. Nobody wants to see the good in it. So it's pretty, a stupid story like that. But yeah, Young Sheldon is nice to watch these kids growing up. And I really hope that they continue making like a Young Sheldon, a Teen Sheldon. They must make an adult Sheldon.
An adult Sheldon.
Yeah.
I think that's called The Big Bang Theory.
Nah, that's with all of them. This must only be Sheldon. And,
How much life do you think he has, bro?
Because that's the thing. I feel like as their characters are growing up, they can have a sort of lifetime role.
A teenage Sheldon.
Yeah. Because now he's hit puberty, so obviously he's gonna grow faster. So they could accelerate puberty, and then they could have a teen Sheldon, and then the original Young Sheldon. What's his name?
Jim Parsons.
Yeah, Jim Parsons.
He plays him in The Big Bang.
Yeah, Jim Parsons. He looked like a baby already, so they just smooth shave his face, and he can
He's the teen.
carry on. Yeah, he can carry on. He can be like from when they meet, like with Leonard and things like that.
That guy's in his like 50s now.
Oh,
He really does have a baby face because like.
Shit, dude, I would never have thought, man. In his 50s.
Well, let's just Google that after we're done here because
Shit.
I do believe he's quite old.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Anyway, back to recommendations.
what other recommendations?
Well, you were
got?
recommending.
Yeah, Big Bang.
Well, you weren't
Young
recommending.
Sheldon.
You were more like pitching a Teenage Sheldon TV show to all the executive listening.
Thank you.
So next in the blank check John McTiernan miniseries we have Medicine Man, which is an environmental movie. It's kind of a weird mix between The English Patient and Indiana Jones, but the boring and uninteresting parts of those movies. That being said, it had a charm to it, and I liked it more than The Hunt for Red October, which was the previous John McTiernan movie. I gave this movie a 6.
Okay.
So like again, it's a bad movie. I wanna I wanna put that out there, but I found it charming, but a little bit silly in a lot of places, but ultimately like a very 90s movie. Yeah. Anyway. Then I rewatched June 2 this week, which is not really a recommendation. It's just to let you know. You can listen to our episode on it for my full review. But again, my favorite part is when Silga says, "Marty, you have to kill me. It's the only way." And Paul shouts, "I'm pointing the way." Which, bro, I love it. I love Dune. Anyway, the other scene I love is at the end when he's like, "The great houses won't accept your ascendancy." And he's like, "Lead them to paradise."
Yes, bro. I don't know where's paradise.
Lead them to paradise.
I don't know if I
is
want
such
to
a
go check
crazy
it
line,
out.
bro.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
can we get into the Oscars segment?
Tell me about the Oscars.
So we're just gonna go through like the big categories. So and then just give some opinions, right?
Okay.
So we have
Leading roles.
actor in leading role. So I'm just gonna call him best actor, right? So we have Cillian Murphy, Bradley Cooper. Oh yeah, I should say Cillian Murphy for Oppenheimer.
Cool.
Bradley Cooper for Maestro.
Okay.
Coleman Domingo for Rustin. Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers. And Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction.
Okay.
Very strong category. I was actually
So the winner is Cillian Murphy.
yes.
And the
Sorry,
other
I should-
people are just nominees.
Yes.
Alright, I get you.
Personally, I think Cillian Murphy should have won. But it's kind of like an 8 out of 10 performance. It didn't like blow my shit, you know. It wasn't like that 10 where I'm like, "Oh fuck, this is a lock." It was like it was good. I'm glad he won. The other actors in this category. So Bradley Cooper, I think, deserves nothing.
To be honest, I didn't finish watching Maestro,
Yeah.
but when I started, I was like, "Why is this movie black and white? What the fuck is going on?" Then I realized this guy's got old and now it's in color.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I wasn't sure if this is Bradley Cooper in the beginning. Now I'm a bit more sure. So I think he came with a big variation to what he normally does.
Well, that's not my issue. Like, I'm always saying, "Hey, you should try something different to an actor."
I didn't hear you say that to me.
Are you an actor?
Shut
What are you
up.
acting?
I'm acting in this life, man.
All right. So Bradley Cooper, I thought, was just horribly overacting in this movie. It's I just
A
thought
bit much.
Sorry.
A bit much.
Yes, it was a bit much.
Just a tad.
I don't even think he deserved to be nominated.
All right.
I'm glad he lost.
Sure,
More
sure.
than I'm glad Cillian Murphy won, I'm glad Bradley Cooper lost.
Damn, bro.
He should have not been here, right?
All right.
Coleman Domingo, I can't speak about him. I have not seen Rustin. Rustin didn't come out in theaters here, and it's not on streaming anywhere, so I can't compare. But I've heard good things. Well, obviously I've heard good things because he was nominated. But yeah, Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers. It's a very sweet, heartwarming movie, and he kind of carries it. Actually, it's more about him and the interplay between one of his students. I don't think you watched this, right? So, he's a history teacher at a private school, and everyone goes home for the holidays except for this one boy, and him and the boy have to kind of like keep each other company during that time. And it's not just Giamatti, it's the interplay between those two characters that's so interesting. I would actually even say that the boy outacted him, but yeah, it's actually a very good movie about COVID. It's not about COVID, like I said, but you know that feeling, feeling of being indoors and like being isolated from the outside world. That it had a very COVID type feel about it. So yes, The Holdovers, I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Jeffrey Wright, we covered American Fiction a few weeks ago. Similarly to Paul Giamatti, I thought they were both like 7 out of 10 performances. They were both very good. They both led their movies very well, but
not as an Oppenheimer in there. industry.
But again, I wasn't even that impressed with Oppenheimer. I mean, Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer. So I was kind of mixed on this category. Any one of Cillian Murphy, Giamatti, or Jeffrey Wright winning would have been totally fine with me.
Does Oppenheimer smoke?
He does. He smokes a lot.
I think the problem with Cillian Murphy is if I can see him in a movie where he doesn't smoke and like make smoking look cool, then I'll think about him as a real actor. For now, I can't imagine him without a cigarette, And the way that he makes the cigarette look, it's like, no, bro, you have no right to make smoking look that cool.
I think that would be a point in his favor, don't you think?
No, that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. He needs to change because, like, imagine if you were to dress up as Oppenheimer, how would you dress up, and how are you gonna include a cigarette? You need to include it,
People
if
smoke
you
cigarettes.
I mean,
nothing wrong with a cigarette.
Yeah, but not kids. Because kids are Halloween.
But listen, you tell me. Hold on, let me just catch you there, right? Which kid is watching Oppenheimer and they're like, "Oh, I want to be Oppenheimer."
What's the age restriction on
18.
Oppenheimer? Okay, never mind. No kids are watching
Oppenheimer. But even if it wasn't 18, right? Which kid is watching a movie like this? That's 3 hours and it's about the atom bomb.
Maybe I'm an interesting parent. I would let my kid watch it,
Well, that's the thing. When I was a child, I would have watched Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
But how many children are like I was as a child?
That's the problem.
And if I were a child, I wouldn't be drawn to Oppenheimer. I would have liked somebody silly like Einstein, who's you say his hat blows away.
Alright, fair enough.
Yes. My winner for this would have been Nicolas Cage in Dream Scenario, which he wasn't nominated, unfortunately, but I was a big fan of that.
Okay.
Actor in a supporting role.
Support.
So, winner, Robert Downey Jr. for Oppenheimer. Other nominees, Sterling K. Brown, American Fiction. Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon. Ryan Gosling, Barbie. Mark Ruffalo, Poor Things. Now, this is a stacked category. This is much harder than Best Actor. So
who is giving the best support?
So for me, Downey was the best actor, the best supporting actor of last year. Like as I was watching that movie, I'm like, I'm watching an Oscar performance go out in front of me, right? Downey, I give a 10 out of 10. He was so excellent in this movie. It's outstanding, right? We covered American Fiction 2 weeks ago. Not even 2 weeks ago. It was last week, right? I didn't think Sterling K. Brown was that outstanding. He was interesting. He was a good performance, but Jeffrey Wright just shat all over it. If I'm being honest,
For
right?
sure.
De Niro, I also loved in Killers of the Flower Moon. He, if not Downey, I would have had De Niro win. They were the two standout performances, not just in supporting actor, just the two outstanding performances of the entire year. It's unfortunate that they were in the same category because,
hard to compete. Yeah.
Yes, you could argue that Robert De Niro, you could shift him to main character and run. But
anyway,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right. Gosling in Barbie, I think was good, but not Oscar worthy.
Yeah, not Oscar worthy, but I just think it's important that he be mentioned as a supporting actor because if that movie was only about Barbie, I don't think I would have enjoyed it, You need some other character to break up the...
Ken is important in the Barbie universe.
Yeah. I wasn't so sure about that, and I don't think Ken was sure about that.
It's like...
So I'm glad that me and Ken were able to clear it up.
It's like making a Superman movie without Lois Lane. It's she's an integral part to the thing. In the same way, Ken is an integral part to Barbie. But yes, I thought Ryan Gosling was the best part of the Barbie movie.
Oh, yeah?
Right? But still not Oscar worthy in my opinion. That was like a 7 or 8 out of 10. But yeah.
And what about Mark Ruffalo?
I love Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. Actually, I was kind of now that I'm thinking about my review, I was kind of mixed on him. I actually enjoyed who's the guy who plays the Green Goblin?
Defoe.
Willem Dafoe. Dafoe was much better than Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. If you watch that movie, Dafoe just has this magnetic, like you kind of like drawn to him much more than Mark Ruffalo. But Ruffalo is good. So yeah, like I said, very stacked category. But yes, I do believe Downey was the best performer last year.
For sure.
And just the narrative around it, okay, you can just go listen to our Oppenheimer episode 4. The full
For the
breakdown.
details,
yes.
yeah.
We're trying to get this done.
Let's see. What about actresses?
Lead actress. So the winner was Emma Stone in Poor Things, Annette Bening in Naiad, Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, Sandra Hüller for Anatomy of a Fall, Carey Mulligan for Maestro. Now, this was also the talking point after the Oscars was that Lily Gladstone was snubbed. People thought that she would be the first Native American woman to win an Oscar in a leading role. Not both man and woman, and she didn't. Unfortunately, personally, I don't think it's a snub. You can listen to our Killers of the Flower Moon episode, but I thought she was deserving of a nomination, but I didn't think she should win. The person I thought should have won was Carey Mulligan in Maestro. Carey Mulligan, I just said Bradley Cooper's horrifically overacting. Carey Mulligan is the exact right kind of, I don't want to say like temperature, when the water's not too hot, too cool, it's just right. That's Carey Mulligan in Maestro. Truly, I believe she should have won this category, but I'm not mad at Emma Stone. So like, I'd give Carey Mulligan a 9, Emma Stone an 8, and Lily Gladstone a 7. So it's like, Emma Stone is better than Killers of the Flower and better than Lily Gladstone, but I still wouldn't have given it to her. Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall, fantastic. We were speaking about this last week, not on the pod, but just in our real lives. Imagine that, having a conversation not on mic. But yes, she is fantastic, and she speaks in both French and English, and I think a little bit of German in this movie. So incredible. Annette Bening in Naiad I haven't seen, so I can't talk about. But yes, I really enjoyed Emma Stone in Poor Things. She's a worthy winner. That's really all I have to say. Because hers was more like a 8.5, not 8. So I should bump it up to a 10. To a 9, sorry. But yeah. Actress in a supporting role. The winner, Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers. Nominees, Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, Danielle Brooks for The Color Purple, America Ferrera for Barbie, Jodie Foster for Naiad. To me, this was the worst category in the big ones, right?
No good supporting roles, yeah.
So Divine Joy Randolph, I don't really think she was like popped at all in The Holdovers. I don't even think she should have been nominated, and she won. So yeah, there's that. Emily Blunt has so little screen time in Oppenheimer, she definitely should not have been nominated. Danielle Brooks in The Color Purple I haven't seen, so I can't comment on it. America Ferrera was the worst performance in Barbie. Look, she has this monologue, right? And you can go listen to our Barbie episode, but that thing irritated the shit out of me. Both the actual monologue of what she was saying, which was just gibberish, and her performance when she was delivering that monologue was awful as well. So in the same way, I just wanted Bradley Cooper to lose Best Actor. I wanted her to lose Best Supporting, right? Jodie Foster and Naiad I haven't seen as well, so can't talk about it. All in all, just a very poor
selection.
Yes, so I would have actually had Patti LuPone in Beau is Afraid win this category, but again, unfortunately not nominated, so it is what it is. Animated feature film.
Tell me about the animated feature
I've only
films.
seen 3. I've only seen 2 of them, so I can't really speak about this. Do you want to just move on? Have you seen any of these?
No.
Well, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse,
Yeah.
I assume. Now, cinematography. The winner, Oppenheimer, Hoyt van Hoytema, El Conde by Edward Lachman, Killers of the Flower Moon, Rodrigo Prieto, Maestro, Matthew Libatique, Poor Things, Robbie Ryan, and 1,000,000%. Well, not 1,000,000%, but like it's a tight shootout between Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon, because
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
they're both like in the desert, and they have these wide vistas of like just looking at gorgeous views, and like yeah, that's about it. And what is Oppenheimer about? It's like a lot of guys in rooms having meetings and stuff, and the cinematography was still so interesting. You get what
That's a high standard too.
Yes. I was saying, yes, I understand it's a comedy for the Ricky Stanicky that we just covered now, right? Even though it's a comedy, you can still do interesting things with the camera. You can still keep us interested in your movie. You don't have to do it so weird.
That's true.
I mean, the opposite of weird, not weird.
Boring and plain.
Boring. Yes. Costume design. We have Poor Things, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer. This is another stacked category, right? Poor Things is kind of set in a alternate history 1930s, where there's like lots of technology from the modern day, and it's supposedly the 1930s. And imagining this fantasy world was very interesting. I mean, obviously the people who created it, I thought it was a very creative costume choices, and like what would people in this world wear. But honestly, this is a very, very stacked category, because Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, they're all historical epics.
Yeah.
So they all have like clothes from like between 50 and 200 years ago. So you have to have sharp people to be like, okay, this is what it looked like then. This is doing stuff like that. Barbie, also a deserving winner.
Yeah, I would think so, because Barbie has so many people to dress up. These other movies, it feels like you only have a main character to dress up.
Yeah,
and
but
everybody else can wear whatever.
It's not about most costumes, it's the design of those costumes.
Yeah, so I'm just talking about like the design in general, like who designs the best, most costumes, not only a few costumes. So I would imagine Barbie had a pretty good run, because they had to design good costumes, but many of them. These people, the Poor Things and Oppenheimer, they only had to focus on a few characters and make sure that those characters have the best costumes.
Right. Well, let's just agree to disagree. I think Barbie would have been a deserving winner, but I don't think it's better than. They're all very at a good level. They're all like 8 out of 10 and higher. So I wouldn't.
Sure.
I couldn't really.
All right, no problem.
Then, next is directing, which I'm gonna skip because I believe directing and Best Picture should go hand in hand. Like, how do you?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Because the thing that they say is Best Picture is for the producers, Best Director is for the director. But why not wrap it up into one award?
Who won the director? Oppenheimer.
Christopher Nolan, yes, for Oppenheimer,
okay.
Which was also the Best Picture winner. But yes,
so that makes sense.
Billy Crystal made a joke at the Oscars in the 90s. He was like, how can this win Best Picture and the director not be nominated? Do you think the picture directed itself? Similarly, I don't think the director and
they should be separate.
They should be together. Our next thing is documentary feature film, which I have not seen any of them. Have you?
No.
Yeah, because fuck all this. If I'm being honest with you.
I mean, documentary is fun and all, but I didn't see any of these.
I enjoy a nice documentary, but like something I'm interested in. Actually, I should take that back, because I've watched documentaries on things I'm not interested in, and they were very
And it
informative.
turns out
Yeah.
to be the most interesting.
Yeah, I
Wait,
think-
what's go up? Let me see the documentary, feature film. Cause I did watch a sort of documentary, but I'm not sure it was nominated here. But anyway,
Yeah, documentary, short film, same thing. Editing, Oppenheimer, by
is the
Jennifer Lin.
winner.
Yes. So I would have had it between Killers of the Flower Moon and Oppenheimer. You know what I was saying earlier about like Oppenheimer as well. I didn't check my watch once, and it was 3 hours long. That it just goes to show the flow of things. You know, like the way they move into each other was very nice. So totally deserved. I don't know. Maybe I would have had Killers of the Flower Moon over Oppenheimer, but not really interested. Then, international feature film. Have you seen any of these?
No, I have not. Which
Okay.
one did you see?
The only one I've seen is The Zone of Interest, which was the winner. I think it's I.O. Capitano, Perfect Days, Society of the Snow, and The Teacher's Lounge. I haven't seen any of them. I don't really want to comment on this category. That being said, the big controversy or controversial moment is that during the speech for The Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer, the director, he gave a speech about Palestine and that so his family, he's a Jew himself, and the Zone of Interest is about the Nazis, and he was saying, don't let those same atrocities happen today. People in Palestine are dying in the same way Jews were dying in the concentration camps. So people that are pro-Israel took offense to that, and were very upset about that. So fuck them. That's all I can say. Thank you, Jonathan Glazer, for speaking truth to power.
Yeah, for sure.
Makeup and hairstyling. Again, it was won by Poor Things.
We've got Golda, Maestro, and Oppenheimer. I guess Oppenheimer smells.
Society of the
Yeah,
Snow.
so
Honestly, Maestro maybe, because he has this giant nose.
yeah.
A giant prosthetic nose on him the entire time.
Yeah.
And even though
And
I
they
felt
do
his,
lots of close-ups and they look
Yes.
right at his face.
I felt like his acting was over the top, but that facial makeup was excellent. So
Yeah, for sure.
that could have been one. Oppenheimer, I don't know about. I guess the hairstyling, that's another thing. I'm not really.
But even then, there weren't many females in that Oppenheimer setting, so to say. There were only the wives, really. And then you just have to make all the wives' hairs look the same because of this time period as well. if
Yeah, but that
makes
takes
sense.
work. That's.
Well, again, like you were saying earlier, it's not about how many nice hairstyles they take, it's about which one
The
looks
quality
the best.
of the style, yeah. Well, Oppenheimer didn't win. It was Poor Things that won. And
So that's nice.
I'm not. I guess it should have won. Honestly, I'm wondering why Barbie was nominated for this. That should have been, at least in the conversation for this.
Actually, yeah, you're right, because Barbie, they do the most dressing and the most hair and makeup too.
And it's a shame it wasn't even nominated. Okay, then music, original score.
Oh, wait.
We have the winner, Oppenheimer, by Ludwig Göransson. American Fiction, Laura Kaufman. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, John Williams. Killers of the Flower Moon, Robbie Robertson. Poor Things, Jerskin Fendrix. So, again, I'm a big Oppenheimer fan. The music as well. I've been listening to the...
Score?
Yes, the score. I've been... Throughout the history of this podcast, I keep saying the same thing. I've stopped listening to rap music, and I've more been listening to the scores and instrumentals while I do my work. And I've gotten so much play out of the Oppenheimer score.
Okay. That's good.
My three favorite songs are "Can You Hear the Music," which is the main theme, "Meeting Kitty," which obviously when he meets his wife, but. Meeting Kitty is a banger, and Quantum Physics, not Quantum Physics, Quantum Mechanics, 3 bangers. So definitely, I believe he deserving winner.
Yeah.
Ludwig Göransson was like a I first knew about him. He was a collaborator with Childish Gambino, right? And then from there, he got the Black Panther. He did the score for Black Panther, and he did what's Nolan's movie before this? Tenet. He did Tenet. So, I'm a big fan of Ludwig Göransson.
He got some great work there.
Yes. So, yeah. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, I think that was a legacy nomination. John Williams is one of the best ever composers. He did Star Wars, he did the Indiana Jones movies, he did...
So they just put it there because he's...
I think he's a legend. They were like, we have to nominate him. Get in here.
Did you watch the movie? Is it nice?
I didn't enjoy it. I gave it a 6.
Oh,
but... No, I take that back. I did enjoy it, but I didn't think it was that great, so I gave it a 6. I'm a much bigger fan of Indiana Jones 2, The Temple of Doom. That's one of my favorite movies. Full stop. Never mind Indiana Jones. Killers of the Flower Moon. There's some crazy songs there, especially at the beginning when the oil breaks out of the ground. Incredible soundtrack. American Fiction and Poor Things. Neither of them. I don't think about the score in either of them. The score didn't stand out to me. I guess in Poor Things there's that violin. That girl goes kind of crazy with it. But yeah, both of those I didn't really think
fair enough.
Should have been, the original song, music original song. I'm looking here, and
Barbie is the main thing.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember any of these. What was I made for? I don't recall it in the movie. The Fire Inside from Flaming Hot. I didn't watch Flaming Hot. I'm Just Ken. Okay, I remember that from the movie, but I didn't enjoy it as a song. It never went away from American Symphony. I haven't seen American Symphony. And A Song for My People from Killers of the Flower Moon, I don't remember as well. So, unless that was it could either be the one at the beginning or the one at the end. If it's the one at the beginning, then fair enough, that's a banger. But the one at the end, no. And then finally, so there's more categories after that.
Of course.
No, but you would think Best Picture is the last category.
Well, let it be our last.
Yes. Let's just skip forward. Right? Production design. I thought this would have been a straight shootout between Poor Things and Barbie, which I think it was. Poor Things won. Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer all nominated. Honestly, I would have given it to Barbie over Poor Things. But again, two very pretty movies, so I see why, and pretty and practical movies, so I see why Poor Things won, but personally I would have given it to Barbie.
Sure.
Animated short film, have not seen any of these, sorry, let's move on. Live action short film.
The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar,
which we covered
that was pretty good
last week. I think we recorded it 2 weeks ago, but it came out last week. The After, Invincible, Knights of Fortune, Red, White and Blue are the other nominated. And the only one I've seen is The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar. So
that's perfect.
Can't really speak too much about it. Let's move on. The Sound. The Zone of Interest, the winner. The Creator, Maestro, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Oppenheimer.
I think I must watch that Mission Impossible too.
I was also kind of let down by that one, bro.
Really?
Mission Impossible 6 is the one where it's at. This number 7, it was fine. But 6, yo!
The fires, bro. And Tom Cruise, that guy must be old, I'm sure.
He's in his 60s.
Yeah.
I think he's 61.
And he's still doing the things, bro.
But he looks great. He looks like in his late 40s.
Excellent.
Anyway, but I think the Zone of Interest should have won. I'm pretty sure I told you, when you watch the Zone of Interest, watch it with headphones and all the way up, because
sound.
I'm kind of mad I missed it when it was in theaters. But yes, the sound design is so powerful. So, what was I gonna say? It's not done on stereo. the sound is done in mono, so you don't know where a certain sound is coming from. So the setup for the movie, The Zone of Interest, is that it's like a little bed and breakfast next door to Auschwitz, the Nazi death camp, right? So you hear sounds and you don't know if it's coming from Auschwitz or it's from something that's happening in the house. Like you'll hear like a baby crying. Is it one of their babies that are crying, or is it like somebody at Auschwitz crying? So yeah, very interesting sound design and a worthy winner of best sound.
For sure.
Visual effects. Winner, Godzilla -1.
Of course.
The Creator, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, Napoleon.
How do you like Guardians of the Galaxy?
Another just disappointing movie, bro. I thought last year was a very disappointing year in terms of film. Let me take that back. In terms of blockbuster filmmaking, Indiana Jones, Guardians, Mission Impossible, what's the Mission Impossible? Ant-Man. What's the other Marvel? The Marvels. The Flash. Like so many things let me down last year.
Alright.
And I'm still thinking of something else that I can't remember right now, but
It's okay.
fuck.
So the visual effects.
Fast X.
Oh yeah.
I don't like Fast X.
They must almost be done with that thing now, so they can just finish it, please. Please, Lord, just finish it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
have you seen Godzilla -1?
I haven't, but I'd imagine the visual effects would be the top.
Yes, I got to see this in a theater, and it was crazy. This is not Godzilla like, we're gonna see in Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, where Godzilla's a good guy. Godzilla is the villain of this.
Oh,
This is a Japanese movie about like grappling with World War II. And if you notice, like that's been a
predominant theme.
A theme. Oppenheimer is about the creation of the bomb that ended World War II. The Zone of Interest is about Auschwitz, during the Holocaust, the death camp at the Holocaust. Killers of the Flower Moon, I guess it's just after the First World War ended, so it's not really linked, but it's in that time period. Actually, no, it's not. It's like 20 years before. But there's certainly a World War II theme.
A time period written.
Yeah, so definitely Godzilla -1. Now, I can't really comment because I haven't seen The Creator, and I've heard very, very good things about The Creator. But the rest, in terms of the rest, I think Godzilla -1 is definitely better than the others that...
Guardian, Mission Impossible,
Yes,
and
and Napoleon.
Alright.
Then writing for adapted screenplay. That just means it's based on a book or something. Winner, American Fiction. Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest. I don't know what Barbie is adapted from, because like I said, it's adapted from a book. Barbie is just like a toy. How do you adapt a toy into a...
Well, that's what someone had to do. Someone was like, we need a story, we're doing Barbie, find us a story, and someone had to hunt
so
for
I
a
think
story.
that's a bit of category fraud that Barbie isn't adapted. Oppenheimer, apparently it's not a good adaptation. The book is way different to what the movie is. So,
So I guess that makes sense why they never won.
yeah. Poor Things, also, I couldn't tell you.
So we'd have to read these books to see the main difference.
Here's the problem. I'm illiterate. I don't know how to read. So I can't read any of these books. I can only watch the movie.
Sure. Well,
It's
we
a
are
damn shame.
we are a movie podcast, so
Yeah.
we'll talk about the movie.
We're not going to talk about fucking books.
Yeah, that's not
Fucking
book club.
nerds.
Okay. That's not book club.
Alright. Then writing for original screenplay. Anatomy of a Fall is the winner. The Holdovers, Maestro, May, December, Past Lives. Honestly, that's a tight win. Because Past Lives is also very good. May, December is very good. The Holdover is very good, but Anatomy of a Fall, excellent movie. It's a shame that it came out this year because everything else was so strong. But honestly, I'm very interested to see what Justin Trier does next because this was a gorgeous movie. Honestly, one of the ones you should have watched because wow, it's just honestly it's like a procedural, like a feature length Law and Order episode, but it's genuinely so well done. It's about a guy who falls from a window. Was he pushed? Did he commit suicide? What happened? And
that sounds very interesting.
Yes. Okay, now we're done with all of that, so let's move back to Best Picture. Winner, Oppenheimer. Nominees, American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Past Lives, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest.
Alright.
Now, I've watched all of these, and 1,000,000% Oppenheimer should have won. It's far and away the best movie of last year.
For sure.
Deserving win. I've had kind of a love-hate relationship with Christopher Nolan. I'm familiar with his works. So I loved, when I was 10 years old, I loved The Dark Knight. That was the best movie I'd ever seen in my life when I watched it.
It was swag, bro.
But later in my life, I watched Heat. And it turns out The Dark Knight is just a rip-off of Heat. Then, like, I really I missed Inception. And his movie after that was The Dark Knight Rises, which I hated. We went to watch it together, right? Do you remember at the end when he goes, and once you use a real name, Robin? That pissed me off. That made me so angry. It's like, Robin is his crime fighting name. Why would you use your real name to go crime fight? But, whatever. So then his next movie was Interstellar, which again, we all went to watch together. We had I think we were supposed to go to a party or something, and we were at your house, and we were drinking, and then we went to watch that movie. And when I'm drunk, I get kind of agitated, like I don't want to sit still, and I just genuinely dislike that movie. And apparently, it's one of the best movies of the 2010s. So I've rewatched it several times, and my opinion hasn't changed
on Interstellar.
For quite a while, I was like, yo, this Nolan guy's a fucking fraud, dog. What the fuck is going on? Why do people love him?
But maybe.
So, I've come around on him a lot. I didn't really like Tenet that much. But Dunkirk and this one have totally turned me around on Nolan. So, yes, I'm a big fan now. And a lot of people... do you see that there's 10 nominees for Best Picture? When The Dark Knight wasn't nominated, because it used to be 5, when The Dark Knight wasn't nominated for Best Picture, there was an uproar, and they changed it to 10 because
damn, they added the extra couple just for them.
Just for Nolan, right?
Shit.
So yes, I didn't think The Dark Knight should have won Best Picture. Oh, and sorry, Interstellar is also a rip-off of 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's, if you have seen that movie. I was speaking with this girl a few weeks ago, right? And she was like, yo, Oppenheimer's gonna win. And then I'm like, what's your favorite Nolan movie? She's like, Interstellar. I'm like, have you seen 2001: A Space Odyssey? She's like, no, I haven't, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, watch that. Yes.
But I don't mind, because I think when they did the Space Odyssey, maybe the technology wasn't up to par.
Yeah.
So now when they do Interstellar, I'd rather watch Interstellar than 2001. But
I would suggest,
I appreciate the influence and just the general inspiration that came from 2001: A Space Odyssey, because I know it as 3001: A Laced Odyssey, which is an album by Flatbush Zombies. And it's just the funnest album ever. I enjoyed so much, so
Alright. I would suggest that you actually watch 2001 before you say that, because personally to me, every effect is held up. Nothing looks like olden days or whatever.
Okay.
It's genuinely
That's good then.
Yes.
I'll give it a try.
Truly one of the best movies ever made. So yeah, now I've come around on Oppenheimer, and I'm glad he's finally won his Oscar. He's a name director. Can you name directors?
Christopher Nolan.
Yes, but I mean, do you think to yourself at the beginning of the year, all right, Justin Trier is making a movie this year, right?
No.
Nolan is one of those people that you know him by name. You can be like, okay, there's a Christopher Nolan movie coming out this year. At least to me, that's in my mind. I don't know what happens to
No,
each
that
person.
makes sense. Yeah, some directors you will just know and you will follow.
Yes. So for quite a while, I felt that Nolan was overrated, but you know, this is the one. This is the juice. This is
the one.
He was in heaven when he was making. He went to heaven, consulted with God, came back, and then made Oppenheimer. That's
for sure.
That's how he was. So much juice.
Well, we really enjoyed Oppenheimer. I think it was a brilliant movie too, and it definitely deserved the win. So, well done to Oppenheimer.
Well done to Oppenheimer and Mr. Nolan.
And Mr. Nolan and all the people who worked on creating that visual masterpiece.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for listening. Please remember to rate, review, subscribe, give a like, etc. Importantly, it needs to be a 5-star review. Please subscribe on Patreon to listen to our movie commentaries. You can find all our links at PAICIP.com. That's PAICIP.com. Please tell a friend. Tell that friend to tell a friend. Tell a family member.
And tell your auntie also.
Well, that is a family member. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.